Welcome to the 18th episode of the Sketchbook Heroes. I would like to say thank you to all of you because you are awesome for showing your support to the podcast by spreading it, by commenting on our posts, commenting on the sketchbookheroes.com webpage, giving us a rating on iTunes, which is, I think, the most helpful one of all. So big hugs and kisses for that one. And also just for you guys that keep commenting on our stuff and just really sending us emails and all. It's I can't explain how grateful we are that it's going so well. Sketchbook Heroes is growing because of you. With us today we have James Cuda, co-creator of the Procreate app, one of the best drawing applications on iOS, in my opinion. And I would like to apologize about the sound as well, but I've fixed the sound as much as possible, so with that said, enjoy the podcast.
Artists of the world unite. Step out of your comfort zone into the danger zone.
Good morning, man.
Good evening.
Oh, yeah,
Good
evening for you.
How are we?
I totally forgot. Yeah, you're not morning right now, are you?
No, good, mate. It's afternoon here. What time is it over there?
It's 9 a.m., right?
Yeah. A.m. We think.
Cool.
Yeah, woke up a couple of hours ago.
We're still trying to wake up.
Have you got that coffee yet? That's the important question.
No.
I've had a lot of caffeine.
I've not had a drop of caffeine today, so this is going to be a good interview.
Can you hear as well, by the way, James?
Actually, yeah, you guys are coming in really clear. How about myself? Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, you're coming in clearer than when we tried it here, actually.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Good
that
to
is
go.
awesome. I'm just going to give you some more sound. There you go.
Cool, man.
Yeah, man. Really nice of you to do this, actually. Since the podcast hasn't really gone live.
No, not at all. I mean, Elias, I remember when you were, I think you were one of the very early adopters of Procreate. And I remember seeing some of your work going, wow, look at that guy. He's just, amazing. So the least I could do was answer the call.
Oh, thanks, man. I really, really appreciate it. And for us being new starters as well in the whole podcast business, it's super nice.
Yeah, it means a lot.
No problem. Like I said, least I can do.
Cool, man.
So, yeah, James, Savage Interactive. How did it all start? How did you get started with the whole thing?
Well, it's kind of cliche. You hear those stories about people starting in a bedroom and going to this, multi-million-dollar thing.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't plan for that. If I'm being honest, that wasn't the plan. The plan was really just to make, the best product we could make for illustrators. That's how it started. And to do that, we had to make a choice. The choice at that time was, we were a creative agency. So we were for hire. We really wanted to do this thing for ourselves. So as the company was kind of changing direction, we were like, well, what are we going to do? So the only way we kind of managed to do it was to go all in. And so we closed down the creative agency and then moved everything to my home in the spare bedroom.
Nice.
Those were some good times. Yeah. It was fun. But look, it was tough. We were working really long hours and we had big dreams of where we wanted Procreate to go. But at that point, all we were focused on wasn't revenue or user retention or any of that stuff. All it was really about was what can we do that's going to make people who love to create and draw and sketch, what can we do to make them have a really great time?
Yeah.
And that was the kind of the start of where we went.
Because when I got in contact with you, you weren't a lot of people. You were like a handful of people, right? It was you.
Yeah, when you started using Procreate, Elias, I think we were there was only three of us.
Oh yeah.
Three of us working on it full time. There was fourth, who was the co-founder, and also my wife, but she was doing it kind of part time.
Yeah.
What does your wife do?
So she was the co-founder of the creative agency.
Oh, okay.
And she's also the co-founder of Savage. Yeah, she's the person that makes everything work. No one knows who she is. No one even knows she exists. But she kind of makes everything work.
You don't know your own wife? No, that's awesome.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
But why illustration though? Like, why did you like branch out for artists? Being like a creative agency, why artists in particular? You know, it's a very niche group of people.
I think because it's something that's very close to me, because I started out my career as an illustrator, and I had all these very noble ideas of painting and selling artworks, and it's just such a hard thing.
No, but yeah, but I think we can all relate to that. So
Indeed.
Yeah. But and I think too the tools that we use as creatives.
Yeah.
They're not amazing. And I'm not saying Procreate's amazing, because I think Procreate's got a long way before it's amazing. Thanks for that. But I think when we started in like 2011, there was nothing for tablets. Like there was there was brushes, which was okay.
Yeah. I think Colors was another one that.
Yeah, Colors. That's right.
Yeah.
The DS port. So
exactly.
It was just a really interesting stage, but a big driver for us was the tools that the creatives use. They're not what they could be, and I think the tablet is that next obvious step in what an illustrator is going to use as far as their tool set's concerned.
Yeah. But I remember back then when I started with Procreate, and I was like, this is amazing. And I remember being really satisfied with it, like even before you put all the features and like what you have now. I was like, this is amazing. Like no other app has come this close to a full-fledged, drawing application. So what you guys have done with it. No, sorry.
Thanks so much. No, not at all. It really means a lot to hear positive feedback like that. Amazing at version 1, because I thought version 1 was shit. We got a lot better.
But I guess that's a good thing about it as well. You guys are never satisfied, so you keep improving Procreate. Instead of starting new ventures, like new apps, you just want to make Procreate even better. Like you have the ambition. You're never satisfied. Like your child could be more.
Totally. I mean, there's been lots of talk about, especially like trying to raise revenue, perhaps making other products.
Yeah.
But the thing that we feel is if as soon as and like we've grown to, I think like 10 people now.
Yeah.
And there's been lots of offers to, headhunt some of us and all that sort of jazz. But the thing is, if we do that, right, if we make another product just for cash flow, or we derail ourselves by getting job offers, then we lose doing what we love, which is, making creative tools. I think, we're definitely working on other tools, but what we're very, what we're very focused on is not letting our eye off Procreate, because there's just so much more to do. So much more. I mean, I look at Procreate on the store, and man, there's so much wrong with it, and there's so much on the roadmap that's happening that we've got to fix all that. Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever be satisfied? Will it be finished at some point?
To be honest, that's a really good question. I don't think so, because I don't know. There's always room for improvement. Yeah. I think in life and in everything you make, there's always room for improvement. Unlike like a painting or a sketch, where it usually stops at an interesting point, it shares the same sort of thing where you could just keep going. But I think this product. Has a lot of time left, and I suppose I'm not sure when or how it will end. I just know there's so much more that we're doing.
And we're looking forward to everything you're doing, man.
Yeah, man.
So. Awesome.
Because I've actually, my iPad right now is like gone. My kids have adopted everything.
They do that.
They do that indeed, and I haven't been able to, because I was gonna be in this beta, but I couldn't get a hold of a device like through work here. I can always borrow one here, but I didn't have the opportunity, so I missed the, what was it?
You missed the beta. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a big beta too, this one. We got like lane groups and all sorts of cool stuff happening.
Oh.
Intrigued.
Yeah. Can I ask something about the name?
Sure.
Procreate.
Really?
It's a great pun, though. It's very, like, on target. Like, you create something, you know, from scratch, pretty much.
Yeah.
So,
You know, originally the product was going to be called Canvas. And we thought, like, you know, Canvas, it doesn't, it's so limiting, right?
Yeah,
it's just like,
exactly.
It's some fabric over, you know, yeah. And so it's like, well, that's not what this product's about. It's so much more. And true story, when we tried to, you know, we'd been working on Procreate for like, I don't know, a year and a half or whatever it was, and we were finally at the stage of uploading the binary. It was still going to be called Canvas. And when we went into iTunes, we tried to upload the binary. It said the name has been taken.
Oh,
we were like,
yeah. I remember Canvas, actually.
Yeah, so we stopped everything, tools down, and we really, you know, did some soul searching. And one thing that we really liked the name Procreate because it gets people talking, and it can offend some people, it can confuse some people. But one thing it does is that it doesn't just fade away like the word canvas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we decided Procreate would be the name we used at Campbell. I think it's paid off.
Really good choice, because we've been joking about it, we've been laughing about it, and, you know, and when I said, they're like, what do you use on the iPad? I'm like, Procreate. I use Procreate. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, you heard me right. It's Procreate.
And we were just...
It's got a lot of things.
We were discussing both names, actually, so Savage and Procreate.
Yeah, Savage. Savage Interactive.
Both names
funny.
have purpose. Although it's interesting because we don't really talk about the Savage brand that much. You know, when we're doing our stuff, we always kind of, to us, the company is not really important. The company, to the broader kind of market, to us, it's important for the people that work here.
Yeah, exactly.
Savage really means a lot when you work here, but for the brand, we have a lot of fun too. Like we did some sponsorship recently in London, and so we kind of riffed on the whole Procreate thing, and we had like banners that said Procreate, do it in 4K, or Procreate,
nice. Yeah,
do it one-handed. And so
Nice.
Like because they all kind
Genius.
of product, 4K artwork, and the fact you can use it one-handed instead. It's got a lot of it.
I love that.
I love that too. Your choice of name reminds me of the game studio called Massive Black, and then their logo is a black rooster or cock. So they're called Massive Black, and you know,
Massive Black cock.
and they're one of the biggest companies, you know. So I love when people take, like, they don't say it outright, but it's there.
Yeah.
But
it's right
it
in your
works.
face.
It's a respected company, you know. I love that people take those chances because you don't forget that. Like, it's really memorable.
Right. I think that's the important thing with brands, because the whole point of a brand is to, be recognizable.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. Like, even if you think of like Apple, right? Like when they called themselves Apple, like back then it was like industrial business machines, you know, and all these really serious names, and then Apple, what the hell? So it's been done so many times, in the past. But it's good when it turns out right. I've seen instances where it doesn't work out right, but when it turns out okay, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly. Just like sort of, I don't know. You have to sort of feel it. I guess you can't really know when it's going to work. It's a bit of a gamble, I guess. That's why not a lot of people do it.
Yeah, it's totally a gamble,
One thing I always loved about Procreate and the team behind it is that you're very open to artist feedback. I know I've beta tested for big companies. Let's not say any names, but they do a lot of leading, market applications for drawing and designing.
Yeah.
But feedback-wise, they just want you to bug test. They don't want any sort of feedback whatsoever on functionality, improvements, even if it's like a long way back for to implement, they just don't want to hear anything.
Yeah.
And that ruins the experience as a user, You don't want to use it because it doesn't do the basic stuff right.
Yeah. I think, I can't speak for said unnamed company. Yeah. But I can say that internally, it's something very deliberate because what we don't want to have is an ego. We don't want to have something blinding us from the truth or from something that could become, something very small, a very small change that could be very meaningful for a lot of people. We don't want to put ourselves in the way. So, when you guys say stuff like, hey, it'd be really cool if it, did X, Y, and Z, what usually happens with that is we have a really big internal discussion. So it's raised every meeting. Every Monday we have our meeting where we discuss this sort of stuff. And there's lists and lists of stuff that get through from customers. Nobody really knows about that. But what's important about that is the discussion point. So we really workshop it back. And the lucky thing is that everybody at Savage shares that same sort of feeling that it's not about me. It's not about some design that, we have to prove right. There's no politics. If we need to scratch it and start again, that's what we do.
Yeah.
But what I found satisfying with that is that sometimes when we suggested something, you gave us like a little number, like a little ticket, like this is like hashtag 453 or something. It was super nice. Always felt satisfying and official in some way in the forums.
Important. I matter.
Yeah. It's really good for us too because that is the direct hook into our bug tracking system.
All right.
So it's super important. Like if you guys say something, we go, mark that so we don't forget.
But it's super appreciative as a tester as well. It feels like what we're doing actually matters. So it's super nice.
Yeah, honestly, customer feedback for us, it's like a gold mine because it's for the customers. Yeah, so exactly. When we hear from the customers, it's just so important.
Yeah. And the pricing on Procreate is so low, in my opinion. I know that in some countries that might be different because different incomes, but the price is so low. Why?
Now, that's a very good question, Lars. I think it's too low, if I'm honest. And the reason why I think it's too low is because sometimes, we spend a lot of money on making these updates and we don't always make it back. And I'm okay with that. I think everybody here is okay with that because other updates do super well and everything kind of works out. But I think what's happened is the market, the iOS market, it's at a stage where it's looking for the right sort of pricing model. If you saw recently with Phil Schiller and Apple introducing subscriptions, and I think this is a really interesting answer to the problem. I'm not saying it's the answer, but it's just it shows that we're still figuring this out, right? Yeah. I mean, we know that prices are too low for professional apps, but we also know that you can't just jack the price up to something that it's probably worth because people will refuse to pay it, and therefore it's unsustainable. Yeah. So we've just kind of said, well, we have to go with the market because to us the product is more important. Yeah. Again, it's that kind of no-ego thing. We don't have a choice in this. We have to do it.
Yeah.
So I was just curious on a bit about yourself, actually, your background with illustration, and how did you start, and where's your inspiration and all of that sort of stuff?
Well, I'm a very bad illustrator, so we should get that out of the way.
There's no such thing, my friend.
No, but I remember, didn't you post something in the forums? What was that?
There's probably some of the... when we started Procreate, we couldn't get anyone... we couldn't commission anyone to create example artwork because no one knew who we were, and we didn't have any money, so
Yeah.
we had to. I had to go and illustrate stuff. So that's probably some of the stuff you saw on the forum.
Yeah. But it was it was good. You drew a portrait, didn't you?
Yeah.
And it was.
Look, they're not. Sorry.
I thought it was good though. I thought that was really good.
Oh, thanks, mate. Look, I think I started out, when I was very young.
Yeah.
Anything that could make a mark on a piece of paper, I was interested in it, and that kind of grew to when I was a young man, and I started to get into oil painting and watercolor painting, and then I figured out, hey, I can sell these things. So I started selling a few, just really small time little galleries, not much money in it. And I had this really, romantic idea that I'd become a big name artist, painting away. And then, of course, reality smashes you in the head and says that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
We've all been there, man.
Yeah, I think every artist has a similar story.
Yeah. And some of us are still in it somehow. Like no, but I mean, like, I have my full-time job as an artist, but I still think there's something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Like sort of a
The grass is
romantic
greener,
notion
right?
of being an artist and traveling and sort of drawing on the go,
Yeah, I want to live in France and drink wine and,
Yeah, exactly.
and do stuff, grow a mustache.
Totally. I mean, that appeals to me already.
Yeah, exactly. My wife might have something like against that, me moving to France alone, drinking wine and drawing.
That's the artist way, man.
Totally. But look, the reality set in, and then I think in the early 2000s, my other thing, right, art is one of my biggest passions in life, but my other passion is technology and gaming. I love video games and technology.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I remember getting a Dreamcast. Right? You guys remember the Dreamcast?
Oh, yeah, we remember the Dreamcast.
Vaguely.
Okay, I remember it. He does.
Yeah, no, I do, but it's
So good.
Yeah.
I bought a Dreamcast, and it had a very it was a very inexpensive way to get online.
Yeah.
And back then, I remember just this explosion of getting online with this amazing amount of digital art. Just digital art just blew my head off. I just couldn't believe how. I thought prior to that time period, I thought, well, computer-generated art is cheating. Right, you just press a button and some shit happens, and
yes.
And you learn that it's quite the opposite. That it is probably in a way kind of more of a craft, more of an art form, because the tools are quite complicated.
That's true.
It was just this explosion, and I think that's what pushed me into design, because it kind of felt like a natural progression into. Again, it wasn't something to set out to, I want to be this kind of fancy designer or something. Exactly. It was just, I felt like I could do something with that, and it was digital, and it was something I just kept naturally gravitating towards. So that's kind of the broad stroke.
Cool.
Nice.
Really nice. And the vision of Procreate, for example, what do you guys want to do with it, like in the future? Because like right now, when I don't have an iPad, I sort of miss it because of, like, I'm going to just throw it out there. My favorite feature is the recording one. Like, that it does it so seamless in the background. Just records the strokes. Like, that is by far the best experience I've had with any sort of recording. And I just miss that. And the touch input, like, just the tapping to erase, all those things. They're so intuitive and so seamless in your app. How are you guys, like, what is the vision for Procreate in the future? What do you want to do with it?
There's a lot that we want to do. Some things I can't talk about. But
I understand that,
Yeah, totally. I would love to tell you, but it would probably be a bad business move. So
no. Yeah, I understand.
So instead, I could probably talk about some of the things that are obvious. So from the desktop point of view, to have a full replacement for your illustration needs, if you come from the desktop, Procreate is not quite there yet. There's still things that it needs to have in order to transition, nicely. And I think some features, some power, some things that haven't been done before. I think is also really important. That it's just things that artists want. And so I think if you look at the future of Procreate, our roadmap extends out a few years already.
Oh, okay.
And beyond that, I mean, things will change because technology changes. But we think two things are really, really important. One, the iPad.
Yeah.
Without the iPad, Procreate, it would have probably sucked on like most other platforms because you don't have this integration between the stylus and the hardware. And when we started on iPad, there was no stylus, right? There wasn't an Apple Pencil.
No.
Nope.
But we believe that it's the obvious way. Surely they're gonna do it at some point.
Yeah.
And they totally did. And so that was a gamble that really paid off for us because that they've made honestly like the best stylus I've probably ever used. It's just really, really good. I remember picking it up for the first time and just using it. Just like, wow, that's really accurate. And then when we were, optimizing it within Procreate, it was like, wow, this thing really can keep up. And look at the tilt accuracy. Everything.
Oh yeah, that was crazy actually. The tilt. I was very surprised when I tried it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we haven't quite got right. Like the hardware is really, really good.
Yeah.
But we need to do better. It's not quite right yet. And so there's so much that we want to do to fix it. And in fact, next year, our planned update for next year is going to be doing not so many really big, crazy whiz-bang features. There'll be some really nice stuff in there that people have been wanting, but we're going to spend a lot of time just kind of optimizing Procreate, just fixing stuff up, small things that normally, software companies wouldn't want to do that, right? They want to slap a massive, look at all the amazing things.
Yeah, exactly. Like a bazillion updates that nobody really appreciates. Like new raw JPEG format. You're like, no, I don't want that.
Right. So, talking at it from a kind of a smaller sense, the immediate things we're going to do are just kind of fix up the stuff that we're not happy with. And in the long term, we see Procreate. We want everyone to use Procreate, of course, and that means some very ambitious moves in the future, and so we're working towards that.
Cool. Yeah, I can't wait actually, because every time you guys have when you had the 2.0 update, even though I was a beta tester, my mind just shot. You blew my brains out. I was floored. So damn good. From the 1.9 to 2.0, it was just such a leap.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Yeah, no worries. I was I've always loved it. It's so simple to carry with you as well, like a professional setup that you can sort of bring everywhere.
Yeah.
And I always got the question. Oh, sorry.
No, go, mate.
I always got the question how do you activate the pressure? And I had one of these Wacom styluses, that had no pressure. But Procreate sort of simulated pressure, depending on speed and everything. And I was trying to explain this to people, there is no pressure. It's just the app is that good that it sort of... it makes it work. And you sort of have to learn to use that. That's the art form pretty much. You know how to draw, now you need to learn how to draw with this application. And
oh man, they were hard days.
Yeah, they were. I think I bought every stylus on the market.
You did?
I did. I've started giving them away now because I'm what am I supposed to do with these? I can't sell them because I don't have the heart, they're not good. Can't sell them. They're all mint.
Don't cheat people.
Yeah, I don't want to cheat people. I just give them away. Here you go, a stylus for you, a stylus for you.
Yeah, I know, right. I think we were partnering with everyone we could back then, trying to bring a nice pressure-sensitive experience. And these guys worked really hard at trying to bridge that gap, but they were working against the system.
Exactly.
The iPad just wasn't built for it, so they were really up against the wall. Yeah. And they were hard days.
They were indeed. Yeah, I can imagine. And then making the SDKs work from every single developer that had anything.
Yeah. It was they were very expensive to do because it took so much time.
Yeah.
And But it was one of those things that the customers really wanted it, and we, arguably felt that it's better than drawing with a finger because it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. People are like, "Oh, you should use it with your finger." It's very uncomfortable.
Right, and it hurts.
Yes, exactly what I mean.
4 hours, it really hurts.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I have a nerdy question actually. How do you guys do the changes? When I've talked to people at Adobe, for example, they just there's so much code there, like code base, that it's sort of like to make a little change nowadays, sort of they need to go back and break everything. How do you guys work around that? Like, do you just try to keep your code as clean as possible, and sort of like, how do you work around that?
Yeah, I think everyone suffers from that problem in the industry somewhat, and I can just imagine because Adobe has been around for so long.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're so mature that I can totally get that. I mean, we're very young, and we suffer from that a little bit,
Yeah.
But the thing is that internally, we view coding as a form of creative writing. Mm-hmm. So we don't see it much like sit down, shut up and follow a design spec or whatever. It's not like that. Our process internally is really driven by, legibility in code. So can you read the code? That's a really important thing because if you can read the code, you can actually, use the code.
Yeah, exactly.
So code legibility is huge. Yeah. And the other thing is we have a lot of processes in place for how, I suppose, the easiest way to put it is whenever we're developing new features, we have a really cool process in place for how that happens. And I don't want to reveal too much about that because
I understand.
I'm very proud about how we've worked that out. And it's been a real collaborative effort between Lloyd, who's our senior engineer here. Lloyd is a demon when it comes to programming, right?
I remember Lloyd from the forums.
Right. He single-handedly wrote the original Silica engine.
Oh, badass.
Yeah, he's
good on you, Lloyd.
And so, working with Lloyd, getting a lot of these new processes in place has really worked well for trying. So, if someone says, "Hey, I want to just change this thing," we can do it without too much of a hassle. That's with the newer stuff. With the older stuff, we still kind of have that problem where we go, "Oh shit, that's going to need to be rewritten." But that's just life. What we do is we just rewrite it, and in a large part, what you'll see in the future is going to be more of that.
Cool.
Just yeah.
But you've managed to make your engine so strong that, like, even with the biggest brushes, I've experienced no lag. Not like even when my device sort of got outdated before I got a new one. I didn't experience the lag, I had my iPad 2 for so long, and you guys kept updating, and it was still doing pretty good. Like even you guys like started making it like not heavier, but sort of,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I think performance is something that's super important to us because talked earlier on about when we got into the game that we felt, well, creative tools aren't that amazing. One of the things, and this is just a personal thing, one of the things that I really, really hated was just how slow everything was to use. I mean, using, big desktop products was really, really cumbersome and annoying to use. And Lloyd also had a passion for performance. He comes from, he loves the demo scene and has a real interest in making things efficient.
Yeah.
And so those two powers combined, I suppose,
so you Procreate.
Yeah, but
no, sorry. I couldn't help myself. I had to.
Well, it was a strong desire on my end, but I think again the kudos goes to Lloyd for having that almost obsession with making an engine. On the iPad 1. That was so efficient and so fast that it's lasted all these years. And even though we've added more stuff to it, it has slowed down a little bit, but it's still considered one of the fastest around. And I think every time we build something new, If it interferes with that performance, we don't ship it because it's super important that customers always get that same experience that they're used to.
Yeah, that we respect. There's nothing worse than getting a new feature that sort of breaks everything else. And some people just keep pushing that, like they do an update and everything slows down. Just because of one feature. Yeah, just because of one thing.
Do you guys remember Macromedia?
Macromedia, yes.
Yeah, I loved Macromedia, man. They were really. There's one idol that we have here at Savage, Macromedia. They were just so cool back in the early days. They just made things that were fast and lean and so good. But one thing they did, I think it was MX I think it was the MX series. Everything just got really super slow. So, the Dreamweaver or whatever.
Yeah,
it was so slow, it just was impossible to work with. I remember those days as just, why? Why would you do that to your customers? Why would you treat them like that, where you've just sacrificed the whole thing that made you amazing for, a dot point on a release schedule?
Yeah, those decisions are usually what break great apps or like applications, because I feel that sometimes they need to sort of step back. You have like success after success, so you get this like ambition to sort of put things out there. You just want to present new features all the time without taking into consideration sort of what those like new features will do to the product.
And I think that's also a problem in the industry, right? I mean, there's this whole thing that the patent is you cram more into the product, slap a button on it, and sell it again. Look, there is a certain amount of truth to that. Like we were talking, like Procreate's not finished, so we need to keep doing stuff. But I think that mindset can be detrimental, especially in big companies. We have like, a management corporate kind of hierarchy where that it gets lost in translation. We've got to have this feature, and so it happens at the detriment of the product. And I think we're lucky enough because we're so small. It's just another, I suppose, benefit of being so agile and small because everybody knows what's happening.
And you still have passion for the product, or it sounds like. So you still want to improve and become the best, I guess, or never even become the best.
No, it's nice not to have like stakeholders, that are not involved in the product itself, and then they have opinions about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
make me money.
That's a really good point because again, talking about recipes for software businesses, that is another one of the recipes, right? You have an idea and you get funded and you bring it to market and try and expand and sell the product or sell the company or whatever. We've had lots of interest in VCs and we've spoken to a couple of VCs, but we always kind of feel like we don't really want venture capitalists involved because yes, we could hire like 50 more people or whatever, but is that going to make the product any better? Is it going to make artists smile? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. No, but I think it's a really nice outlook because, for example, where I work at King, people are... We're a bit... Oh, shit, I lost my train of thought. No, but the thing is... but there are certain limitations. That's what I'm trying to say. There are certain limitations on what we're allowed to use, and people get discouraged. But I think that is probably one of the best things to start with, limitations. Because, like, a lot of the games that we used to love as kids, 80s, 90s, they were games that sort of came from... a limitation, like all these games were grown from limitations. You had this like grand vision, but then you had like double the limitations.
You can only use 5 colors.
Yeah, exactly. You can only use 5 colors. You cannot render this in real time. You cannot do this or that. And that's the best games came out of that.
Yeah, they're still like one of my favorite games, like the old Turtles game.
Yeah, like anything of the old stuff.
Oh man. Ninja Turtles, the original NES, that was carnage.
I know.
Battletoads on the original NES, that was hard.
Oh, yeah, man. Don't get me started.
I don't think I've finished it.
No, I came to the last boss, and he kills me every time, and you get to start over. That's what you get.
Yeah.
And some of the games, like I had this other game called like Rygar or something like that. It took forever to finish. You couldn't save, I think. And when you finish the end, like I Googled this. Like, I was like, how did this end? You know, I YouTubed it. And he just walks into a hallway, you know, like a bit choppy animation. And that's the end. I was like, I was trying to get to this. I was trying to get to this choppy animation.
No sleep for days.
Yeah,
Trying
exactly.
to finish
That's what I
this
mean.
goddamn game.
And it was just like they made like one pillar, then duplicated that one, and then just put it in, you know, like a perspective sort of grid. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I remember the days when you couldn't save. That was nightmarish. Like I remember playing like on my Sega, my Wonder Boy and stuff. And you know, my mum would say dinner's ready, and I'd go,
no,
I can't. Yeah. I actually leave it here and hope I don't die.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
man.
some games, I think it had like an automatic reset. Like if you paused it for like, I think it was like 2 hours or something. I don't know if it was the SNES or the Sega, but it's sort of like...
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's sort of like just went to the home screen, yeah. Because I paused my game and my mom was like, oh, we're going to eat, we're going to clean, we're going to do this and that. Yeah. And then I got back, it was from the beginning, like it reset. Exactly. And my mom didn't understand. She didn't care. Like she was like, "You're just sitting in there. Yeah, exactly. You're just sitting in there. It smells like fart, pretty much. And you don't want to leave your room." Like, no, I don't have an understanding for that.
The good old days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, gaming. I mean, that's why. Have you guys played anything from Software, Dark Souls?
Dark Souls. Oh man,
No, I haven't tried it.
My friend,
yet.
like, I have 2 kids. My friend was like, "You gotta play Dark Souls," and he gave me like when the first one came out. He's like, "You really need to play this." I spent, I think, 2 hours getting nowhere.
But Dark Souls 2,
I was like, as
the
a
second
parent,
one is supposed to be super good.
yeah. No, they're really good. But the thing is, as a parent, you know,
Yeah.
with limited time, and you want to sort of draw and do freelancing and work 8 hours and everything, there is no time for Dark Souls.
2 hours for you is like a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they had the same sort of thing. I didn't get into Dark Souls 1. Everyone at Savage was going crazy over Dark Souls, but I didn't get into it. But Dark Souls 2, and I got into, and Bloodborne on the PS4.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to trying Bloodborne, actually. It looks amazing.
It's actually really good. But it's got that kind of that old school Battletoads, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you die,
It's just
you die.
tough.
Yeah. Okay, that,
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's different.
I think one game that kept that, it was like on the Xbox 360. No, not 360. The first original Xbox had the game Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, yeah.
That game was super hard because I was like, I'm just gonna like ramp it up to hard because I'm good. And oh my god. I had to go back to normal, and it was still super hard. Like they really made it. They made you work for every like progression.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly. Like you had to work for every goddamn step you took in that game.
You get a bit of appreciation though, because I think a lot of modern games, they're just so easy. You play them and it becomes boring.
Yeah,
because
it
you just
does.
got
Definitely.
to come back.
And you don't get to
those sort of
learn
things.
anything. Like they tell you exactly what to do every time. You're getting more and more stupid, and you finish the game in like a day. And
But you can test that.
Awesome.
You can actually test that. Like you play these new games and you just walk. You know, like some games they will kill you like immediately, and some games you can just walk past the enemies pretty much, and then you know like where they put the bar. Like if you can walk for like a full minute and people are around you, not really.
They're just running around and stopping.
Yeah, exactly.
trying to
Shooting
run.
in the air. Yeah, you can, I guess, see where the bar is set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say have you tried the VR yet? The PlayStation VR?
I haven't tried PlayStation VR. I think, it's such an interesting topic, especially in the tech community, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about AI and VR.
Yeah.
But one of the things, I think VR is really interesting for entertainment, especially for, talking about video games.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That's just the perfect match. But outside of video games, I'm actually feeling a little bit doubtful that beyond entertainment, there's going to be a whole lot of stuff. I'm sure there's going to be stuff, but a whole lot of stuff, I'm not really convinced. But and I think that's because when you can't interact with the physical world, when you're working, I think it's actually a disability more than anything else. But when you want to be totally consumed by the environment, like a really good video game, man, totally. But I think one thing that we're not talking about enough is AR. I think augmented reality could be huge because I think if I'm at work, I want to drink my coffee, I want to see my emails or whatever, I want to see who comes in to talk to, to my office to talk to, and if I can augment that with a design program or something that only I can see and interact with,
that would be cool.
Wow,
that would be
that's
cool.
amazing, right? And I think it surprises me that everyone's talking about VR, because AR is, I think, just as important for a different part of the market.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. And it doesn't limit you by having, headgear and being totally disconnected, pretty much.
Yeah, totally. And it could, I suppose the possibilities for AR could, I just think they're just massive. Augmenting reality with digital. And there's people that, doing some really amazing stuff like Microsoft with HoloLens, etc.
Oh, yeah. It looks so good. And I have
it's really interesting stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I have a contact with Microsoft because I've worked with them. And I'm going to see if they can sort of hook me up with a demo of that because that would be so much fun to sort of like just try out at their place, see what they've done with it so far.
I mean, it looks amazing. All the demos that I've seen just look super, super impressive. And I think I don't know, right? Like people could be listening to this in the future and go, "What a dumbass!"
They probably will anyway. It's okay.
But I think looking at it from where we are today, it just seems that VR is going to be super important for entertainment, and AR could be massive as a whole for our species.
I think that'll be more for everyone, augmented reality. Because everyone will sort of be able to get into it, like once it goes mainstream, I guess, and not being super expensive.
I think it's also a lot more accessible. Like if you could think about, like my car has a little heads-up display where it just has like a digital readout of the kilometers and directions or whatever. But if you could imagine like your whole screen that's augmented reality that can show you information like weather, stuff, like messages coming in. I don't even have to take my eye off the road.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Yeah,
I'm just driving, but this technology is augmenting my experience. So I don't think it's limited to like a set of glasses or whatever. I just think augmented reality as a tech, I'm super excited.
Yeah, I feel you there. I have so many ideas of what you could do with it. Like you start thinking about one thing and that just leads to another. But I'm not going to bore my listeners because I don't know how many artists are interested, but I think it's super. And
everybody was thinking porn.
I was actually thinking...
The future's limitless. Porn.
No, I'm actually... I was actually more thinking of like, I could have it like on my car, like on the window screen, while I drive, and it's sort of like has all these... Oh, man. No, I'm just seeing like sci-fi.
But they've already started doing stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like I've seen a couple of things, like the motorcycle helmet, but wouldn't that count as a VR almost because it's a motorcycle helmet?
Oh yeah.
But it works in the exact same way as the future windshield.
Yeah.
But it's just really cool.
Yeah, man.
So we have this segment in our show called Retro Roulette.
Oh yeah.
So because you are a guest at our show now. We thought that it'd be cool if you could do the Retro Roulette today. And what the Retro Roulette is, I'm going to stop saying that now, is pretty much some cartoon or movie or game or something from your past that helped inspire you to move to the next level of artistry.
Yeah, exactly.
So, for example, the Turtles game, like... How did that inspire you? Or if you have anything like that you really like, you take a second, you think back, and you're like, this movie or this really pushed me to become what I am today. Like, do you have anything like that?
Yeah. Well, there's many things, but I think the one that's most, I suppose, memorable is Transformers.
Yeah, we're looking at your Skype image.
Optimus Prime. Yeah. I just drew, I think every Transformer so many times. Yeah. They were really, really big. Because they were so versatile. Like, they could be a car or a plane, but then the robot, and mastering that kind of anime kind of style. I used to make all the sounds and shit when I was drawing.
Of course, we still do.
Hey, wasn't that a big part of being a kid? Like,
Decepticons. No, yeah,
no. Right.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
there's another piece of
there you go. There's retro for you. Awesome.
When I was a young boy, they brought the Knight Rider car into Australia.
Oh my god!
I know, right? Everyone was waiting to get in, and my old man was like, "Hey, you want to go in and get a photo?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah! I want to get a photo. Let's go!" And it was such a. I remember looking at the photo when we left, and I was like, "Wow, I've been in kit for Knight Rider."
Yeah,
awesome.
It was the biggest accomplishment of my life.
Yeah, at the time, my
8-year-old self.
Oh man,
life will never be better than this.
Exactly. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember seeing the Batman car live for the first time. I don't remember what sci-fi thing it was or convention. Oh my god!
Wow.
Yeah. And I think it's a Tim Burton one.
Yeah, the original,
Oh,
or
man.
not the first, but
but
the first movie.
I think it was
one.
at a car show actually.
Really?
Yeah, some sort of.
I haven't seen it, so I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So tell me, was it the 1960s Batman car, the 1990s Batman car?
Ooh, I think it was the 1990s.
Right.
Yeah, 90s car. Yeah.
The Tim Burton.
That was one I was hoping you were going to say.
Yeah.
So cool.
So good.
Yeah. And they were like, "What do you think?" I just mouth half open, just reaching towards it. And they were like, "No, you can't touch it." I'm like, "No,
please, just let me lick it."
Yeah, just let me.
Just a little bit.
Just let me do something to it. Just let's make this physical. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
In a lot of ways, I don't think what is it called, the Tumbler or whatever, the new one.
Oh, the new one, yeah.
Phenomenal. It's nice, and I like the look of it, but something about the 90s Batman car that was just so good.
Yeah, and I think they
Perfection.
didn't I think the new Tumblr, it's so practical. You know what I mean? The old one was just aesthetics, and I just want
it's
I
way
want an
too
awesome
big.
car.
It's clunky.
Yeah, exactly.
He has to shoot a fucking wire to turn. It was impossible to drive, and it shoots fires.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. But yeah.
But I think that is what makes it better.
Exactly, it's iconic, and he doesn't even use it that much in the movie.
No, I think there's
it's just that one scene pretty much, and he shoots the. Oh, I love that scene with the machine gun. He shoots the fence thing, like the big door.
Oh yeah.
And it opens up the thing.
And it opens.
Oh, it's so good. Oh man, good times.
Nerd stuff.
So, what do you think of the new Transformers movies? Just being on the Transformers topic.
Boom.
To be honest, I actually liked the first one, and I know a lot of people probably shoot me for that.
No, but I do too.
I did enjoy the first one. I
really?
enjoyed the first one.
I like pretty much all of them, except for the Mark Wahlberg one. That felt unnecessary.
I kind of felt after the first one, it kind of went a bit, I don't know, it just wasn't as strong. And I think the one thing I really didn't like was Optimus's mouth. He had this mouth.
Yeah.
Instead of he had the battle mask when he was in a fight or whatever.
And that was awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
But then he just it would go away. He had this little pissy mouth that he would talk out of.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible.
What the hell? Yeah, a massive guy and then just that little.
He's a robot. What's he going to use his mouth for?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's he going to live for?
Exactly. He's going to start
But
kissing.
I liked it.
But you know what I think happened to Transformers? The same thing that happened to was it Tobey Maguire who played Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the first one was okay. It was like the first one. And then it just got silly.
The second one was awesome.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the second one was, but then the third one, I don't know what happened. It was a musical. And,
let's not even get into this.
I don't know what happened.
I will probably punch
money does
someone.
not make a better movie. Like the more money they get, the worse the movies get. Like the limitations are key. I think that's what we can take from all of these. Like,
but this is all like it's the studio meddling with everything, and they're like, no, just throw in some more bad guys. We can sell more. Do this and this,
and dance a bit at the end.
yeah. Because I am the biggest Spider-Man geek, so that's why I'm like, okay, let's not do this, all right?
Violence will happen.
But yeah, but I never really liked Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man.
No, neither did I. But
like,
it was a Spider-Man movie at the time.
At the time, it was awesome.
It was awesome.
But then when Andrew Garfield came, I was like, okay, this looks more like Spider-Man. But now Tom Holland, holy fuck, man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen Civil War?
Oh, certainly. You know what? I didn't. And I know, again, a lot of people are probably going to shoot me for this one. I didn't really like Civil War, but I loved Spider-Man. When that whole sequence started on, I'm like, okay, I'm cool with this. This is all right.
Exactly. And it's just like, for me at least, it was finally, it's just the stupid teenager from the comics, right? Perfect.
Yeah, and he has that
Never
voice
shuts
as well.
up.
The
exactly.
nasal sort of.
Just
but still,
grabs the the metal arm and like, dude, you have a metal arm? That's awesome. That's so cool.
It captures Spider-Man.
Yeah, really.
I think everyone I've spoken to is the same thing. They're like, the movie's alright. Spider-Man. Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
He's the takeaway from that movie. Yeah.
I can't wait for Homecoming.
But I think all those movies, they are sort of like, none of them is like bad all through and through, but some of them are, more there for convenience, sort of like.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen Suicide Squad yet.
No, I haven't. Right. That one I'm skipping. But I think they're there to sort of like to fill out a plot. They're trying to. It's a very complicated story they're trying to tell. So some of these movies are more a necessity to bring the story forward than it is a movie. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Sure, yeah.
And we do appreciate them trying. Seriously.
Yeah, but you should take away a couple of millions from their budget. Maybe they will become better.
Exactly. Look at Deadpool.
Because Deadpool is the perfect example.
Yeah.
The budget cuts on that movie is just insane.
It's like 5% of a normal Marvel movie, and it's just the best. Like,
one of the best ones. I think even Guardians of the Galaxy, like no one.
Exactly.
That's another one that
people,
like say was not that good. I loved it. I thought like it had almost no budget and it did super well.
I loved it.
Amazing. Like, and I had never heard of the comic before the movie came out. Like, I was really brand new to the whole thing, and I just bought everything. It was perfect. And Chris Pratt, man, amazing.
But I think he's relatable to people like 80s, 90s. I guess he's like the freestyle kid,
Exactly. And it's just so cool because the movie starts out in like the 80s.
Yeah.
Is it 80s or 70s? No, 80s. Like with the
I think it's 80s.
with the Walkman, with the puffy things on the ears and, all of that stuff. You could it's your whole childhood. And the music is, man.
Totally.
See, don't get me started. Like, you can see, I can't shut up now. This is my area, okay? You guys talk the nerdy stuff with all the numbers and programming. I start going on Transformers and Spider-Man.
I see passion. Spider-Man passion.
Oh, man, you should see. I'm wearing a Spider-Man t-shirt. I've got a Spider-Man tattoo.
No, he can see us.
Oh, shit, you can?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hello.
Yeah. So, I'm just the biggest geek.
I think that's a common theme here.
Oh, that's cool. I think it's. Yeah. But how is the atmosphere at Savage? Like, because you're not a lot of people, so I'm thinking it's very homely or whatever you can call it,
Yeah, I think from my perspective, there's two things that are pretty prominent. So one thing is we have this thing where we're all striving for excellence, and in that I mean like a personal excellence and then an overall excellence.
Yeah.
So there definitely is that feeling that we're on this mission to do the best we possibly can, and that it's kind of felt through everything. Like when we're writing, like release notes. Like everybody gets together to make the best release notes we can, or whenever we got to send out an ad, like it's got to be the best ad we can do. Yeah. Not that we are the best, but it's got to be the best we can do. Yeah.
So much
that's
respect
a big
for
part of it. And, oh, thanks, mate. It does put on a lot of, I think, stress that comes with it too. I think, we can't do that all the time. So the other side of Savage is just complete opposite. Sometimes we'll just blow off work and just talk shit for, half a day, or go and get lunch and solve the world's problems or whatever, or play video games or whatever. But I think you kind of need that dichotomy of, like, if we're not going full tilt, we're sitting around shooting the shit, half dead. It's kind of the way we work, and I think you need that, because you can't go 100%, 200% of the time.
No.
Yeah. But that's really nice to hear, though. Like, because I remember when I started at King, we weren't that many people. And we worked on Candy Crush, and it wasn't a big game, Nobody knew what the hell we were working on. We were just working on it.
Wow.
Still don't.
And yeah, exactly. And people still don't know who we are, like the people that work with it.
No, nobody knows King.
But the initial, right. No, but I don't mean the company. The 8 people that sat there and worked on that game, with the dick jokes, fart jokes, whatever the hell we were doing. And we were drawing candies. Like the stuff you don't see behind the scenes,
The contrast.
Exactly, the contrast. The inappropriate jokes, like everything. That small team. Now there's like, I don't even know how many people working on Candy Crush, It's not 8 people, it's like more than 80 people,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And there's multiple games, and there's, I've lost sight. Like, I don't know what's happening. Yeah. I know my part. And I sort of miss what you guys have, sort of the small team. Yeah. And if I could reflect back to Savage and Procreate, what would you say has been the biggest challenge for you guys?
That's a really interesting question. I think it's hard to narrow down the most pertinent, but I think probably finding the right people is still the hardest thing we face, because we've got we're looking for engineers at the moment, and soon designers, just trying to grow again. And man, we have spoken to a lot of people, and not one of them has been 100% right. So you know what I mean? Like you get people who are either really super talented, but they just have the wrong vibe or the wrong kind of attitude. And that's not going to work. Because as soon as you bring someone in a really small team, if you bring someone in that doesn't fit, it's totally disruptive. And so I think in 2014, we had what was referred to, I can't even tell someone publicly, but here we go. We had this thing called the genocide, where there was a few of us here that really were hurting Procreate.
Okay, yeah.
And weren't really doing the most amazing of things, and so we had to let them go. And people think like firing someone is just super easy, but
it is
when we work together like a family. It's like I've often said, it's kind of like you're in a relationship with these people, right?
Exactly.
And then when you have to axe them, it's very disruptive for the team, and it really sucks. But man, once that's done, once you don't have that same negativity in the team. It's just so good.
Sing hallelujah.
Pretty much. And we're really lucky right now, because everyone in Savage just deserves to be here. It's just
cool,
having the time of our lives.
That's really good, and it's so much harder when it's a team of like 10 people. You grow together way faster than just working at like a big company. So totally. I can just imagine,
together, you fail together.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you drink together.
This is true.
Awesome. But and also in Sweden, for example, if you hire someone and the probation period is over, it's really hard just fire someone, you know.
Yeah, you need a good reason.
So you really
Is that
need to.
right?
Yeah. So you have to be very selective of who you let in, and sort of take the probation period pretty serious, you know, like to really see if it is a good match.
Exactly
Yeah.
the same in Australia. Yep, it is exactly the same. So we have a 3-month probation period, and if they pass that 3 months,
Yeah.
it's almost impossible to eject them out unless you've got serious grounds.
That's what I mean. Yeah, exactly.
It's an offence under Australian law. So yeah, it's the same.
And
it works. I think that's a good thing for big businesses, to be honest, because a lot of big businesses can abuse that. But for small businesses, it's not so good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree. It's like it's hard to cover all bases with one rule, you know. So
right. I think overall, though, it's still probably a good thing.
no, I think it's a good thing. In Sweden, I think it's like 6 months. So you're really like the honeymoon phase might pass a bit as well. You know, like, let's say the 3 months are the honeymoon phase, and then you're sort of into it,
and then real 3 months,
and then the real 3 months. Yeah. So
and that's when you
really
actually
get a
see.
read.
Yeah.
You see the real person.
Yeah.
Because a problem we have usually is that people come in, and Candy Crush is it's not the nicest looking graphical game, you know. But people, they come in and they want to improve it, you know, but you can't change a style that was set 4 years ago entirely. Like, the changes need to be sort of, you need to make a decision and make a small change that doesn't change the experience for the user. But coming in new and ambitious, you're sort of like, we should make it look like this. I've gone on Google, you know, and I found these images of what this game could be. But if you do those changes, people are like, they're going to log in and like, am I playing Dark Souls or am I playing Candy Crush, you know?
Yeah.
And people sort of like, they have a good intentions, but they still need to remember that, for example, Candy Crush is our Apple, you know. If you change too much, you'll change the product. And I think you need that probation time sort of to like get them in and see if it is a good fit. So, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Certainly one of the hardest things we've found.
But I can imagine, and you guys have, as artists, we can't break the game, especially when we're touching like some parts of the XMLs. But we can't do a lot of breaking. But we have developers, you know, like, you sort of need to have someone with a clean code base that sort of understands that other people are going to dab in the same code.
Yeah.
And
that's hard for new artists, like letting go of your babies. I remember when I started.
Oh, yeah.
That's
totally. Yeah. I think every artist suffers from that somewhat. Like, you put so much energy into something and then it gets rejected and you're like,
but it's beautiful.
Yeah, but I guess when you're in the business, the where you differentiate someone that is a professional is that they sort of like, you draw for the product and not for yourself, you know. And then you do what we do.
Yeah. It goes back to the whole no ego thing. I mean,
exactly.
When you remove yourself from the problem, you're a better artist or
definitely.
Or designer or whatever it is. Yeah.
Because I love that you spend some time and then the art director comes like, this is not going to work, and you just like, oh well, I'll just do another thing, and that's fine. That is how you should. You should be very humble about it, you know, because it's not a personal. No, exactly. It's not a personal thing. It's not an attack on your style. It's just it doesn't fit the product.
Yeah.
And you should. Yeah.
And that was the big difference between me and a lot of my coworkers when I was back at Lego. That every time when I came home, I had this like burning desire to create, and I just did my own stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else I knew, they were like, I have no inspiration. I don't want to draw anything. I don't want to see a piece of paper, blah, blah, blah. But for me, it was just because everything I did at work, it was always, you know, just for work. And it had to be changed and blah, blah, blah. And it was because I did distance myself, as you said. Like, I removed my ego and I just did the work like a little robot. But I just savored all the stuff that I was like, because I was working on this and my brain was getting like, ooh, that'd be really cool to do, or what. So when I came home, it was just like, let's do this, fuck food.
He doesn't have kids, as you can clearly hear. I get home, I'm like, I'm going to draw. They're like, Daddy, draw me a Pokemon. I'm like, no.
If I had kids, they would not exist anymore.
You'd be in Paris. You'd be in Paris eating your baguettes, drinking wine.
Drinking wine.
Oh, yes. But I just wanted to check where you guys are based. Like, in which city are you guys?
So we're based in Hobart, which is the capital city of an island called Tasmania.
Oh, okay,
and so
cool,
that
man.
is this little island off the bottom of Australia. It's kind of if you were to go, south, all the way south.
Yeah.
You'd hit, Tasmania, and then after that it will be Antarctica.
Nice.
Holy crap.
So that's the only place you can go skiing, right?
That's what I've heard.
Well,
look, it's a really, really interesting spot, and I think we've had many thoughts about heading to the valley, where that's where it's all happening. But we really like where we're based at the moment, even though it's not connected to the valley. It's kind of works in our favour because we don't have all the politics and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And also, you sort of like, again, with the limitations, you don't get as many outside influences to sort of distract you from your path. You know what I mean?
No, exactly right. And we don't have there's no industry gossip or anything that we have to monitor. We're just kind of free from all that. And even though I keep a pretty close eye on what's happening and keep my finger on the pulse.
Definitely.
What's good is I can just put it down. I can just read the news and then just put it down, and then I come to this little isolated world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when I step into Savage. Yeah.
Sounds great.
That is. I think one of the things why I admire Procreate and the team behind it is that you guys, like you said before, there is no ego in this. You just want to make something awesome, and as soon as you remove ego, you get awesome,
Yeah.
You might not be satisfied, which is a good thing for all of us, but oh man. Yeah, Procreate. Woo!
Yeah, I think removing yourself is one of the biggest lessons I've learned. And I think it's just a part of the journey we all kind of go on. Every artist, I think, reaches the point where they get that there's something bigger than just their own interpretation. But your own interpretation is very powerful. I mean, art is still something that just I'm so attracted to, and I mean that in a very broad sense. Like, I think the arts aren't really valued in modern society. But the thing is, the arts is what drives our entire civilization, because we imagine things, right? I mean, this is totally separate from every other species on this planet. A duck doesn't write poetry, or a swan doesn't create a sonata, and dogs don't paint amazing masterpieces. It's something really, or do they? Some would argue that. But I think that to me is super interesting. You're talking about, this is going to get super deep, but I'm going to get it.
Just go. This is the podcast for it.
Why? You're talking about why and all the big questions to life. I think one thing that we continually do is point to science and forget art.
Yeah.
And I think that is such a shame, because the imagination is so powerful. Making something from nothing in your mind isn't nothing, right? Because as soon as you think it, it's a fact. It's a real thing. As soon as you think it, you have thought it. And some people enact on that thought and build a bridge, or write something, make something, draw something. Every building started in someone's imagination, and yet we don't put enough energy into exploring those of us who are, because I think everybody's creative, right? I mean, I think every single person has the capability to create music, paint, and write, and I think there's just some of us who just naturally gravitate towards it more than others. And I think it's a real shame that in society we haven't cottoned on yet. But I think in the future, I think it's kind of inevitable that as we grow as a species, that we're going to figure out the arts as a big part of the puzzle as to why and how and where.
Definitely.
And what's deep?
We are visual beasts as well.
Oh yeah.
Like if I see something
Right.
pretty, it doesn't even have to be good. You know, like I still get that. Like, oh, I want that because it's so pretty. You know,
Pretty.
we're driven. Like when I saw the Procreate design first, it was different from all the other applications that looked messy and everything. It was just like, oh my god, this is magic. You know, you sort of want, like when something.
It's kind of like when you. Oh, sorry.
No, keep going.
I was going to say, it's like when you see a car, right? You can see the same car in various colors, but no, you want that one. You want the
exactly.
Black. You want the red one. And there's no no reason for it other than there is an emotional bond with what you see, and that invokes something special to you. And that's just the way we're wired.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
really
hard to explain that feeling. Like, no, I want that one. Like, what would it matter if it's
why?
green or blue? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, the green one has better mileage.
Yeah, exactly.
You should get
in my
that
mind.
But I want the black one.
I wanted a black car. We got a silver one.
Yeah. That's why I take the train.
Yeah, I do too.
Simplifies things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was all for today, man.
Yeah, thanks so much for doing this.
Super happy that you actually talked for us for this long.
Yeah.
Like 1 hour 14.
Nice. Yeah.
No, not a problem. It's been cool chatting. Been really cool chatting.
Yeah, it's been really nice to actually talk to you, you know, not just emails and like forum correspondence.
Yeah, it's been nice meeting you, not knowing anything about you at all. And my name is Robert, and I never introduced myself.
You're a big Spider-Man fan, though. So that's one takeaway from today.
I forgot to introduce Robert when we started. Sorry about that, Robert.
No worries, Robert.
Not a problem.
But it's good to also put a face to the name, Elias. I think I've spoken to you, or over forums or emails for like a couple of years now, mate. It's good to finally put the name to the face.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
I even shaved for the occasion. Slightly.
He did not. Still looks like a hobo.
We don't shave. You don't shave when you have kids. It's not a thing. No. You scare the life out of them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But no,
cool.
we'll try to make it down to you guys at some point.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Actually,
that'd be awesome. Totally, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, and then we can ski together. Antarctica, exactly. You know, like. But I was gonna say, do you want to do any
shout out
to Procreate or anything?
Anything.
You feel free. We love it.
Yeah, I don't. Thanks, guys. I think the only thing to say is, if you're a Procreate customer, keep your eye out on your updates because something's about to happen.
Ooh.
Very exciting.
Oh my god. I might borrow that iPad that I signed up for last week that I forgot to bring home.
Let's see one right there. Just take it.
There you go. Well, man.
Cool.
All right, man.
Well, thanks very much, guys. Pleasure to be here.
Likewise.
Enjoy your evening and sleep tight.
Evening, yeah.
So weird.
Yeah.
Enjoy the future.
Oh yeah,
I will. I live in the future.
If anything happens that I need to know, any lottery tickets,
I'll let you know.
Let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay, man.
Sweet.
All right, guys.
Say hello to the team.
We'll do. See you guys.
See ya.
Cheers.
Bye. Let's do this. Let's round off. So how you doing, man?
I'm good. My back hurts. Yesterday was a hard day with the breakdancing kids. And it really fucked up my back.
I didn't know actually that he could see us at first.
No, me neither.
But then I saw the lamp, not when he said it, but the lamp was always on, and I was like, oh shit, it's on.
Okay, because I was just standing like daydreaming. Yeah.
No, I was checking the show notes, and then like the lamp is on.
I'm just happy I wasn't naked today.
Yeah, that would have been very
awkward.
Very awkward for James.
He was probably naked.
Yeah, everyone's just naked on this podcast.
Well, we know that, James. We know.
Now that James can't defend himself, we're sort of going there.
Let's trash him. No, man, that was really cool.
Super nice.
Yes, super nice guy.
And like we said, Procreate is in the App Store. It's for iOS devices only. Which
is bad because I think they should expand a bit. And I forgot to say that.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion because...
No. The thing is, they don't have the team to expand.
Yeah.
And they don't want to sort of lose what is good right now.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that he said that they had future plans, like long...
hoping one
like
of those.
years,
That's
yeah,
one of those.
and that might be something in the future. But like he said, it's really hard to find people that share your vision and don't come in and sort of want to do their own thing, you know, with the product. Yeah, another shout out again for Procreate. It's on the App Store. I think in all countries. Oh my god, a cough is coming. So if you haven't tried it, do so. It's one of the most complete applications for drawing on there, I think.
Yeah.
There are others that I'm not going to mention because I don't like them personally.
No.
But this one, it's the bomb. And also, it has a recording feature that lets you sort of get a time lapse, you know, of the whole thing.
Which is amazing. Especially if you want to be interactive and social with your art stuff.
Yeah, exactly. If you're doing tutorials
stuff,
or whatever,
it's always fun to see.
It's super nice, yeah.
I always loved seeing your stuff when you did it.
And I did it a very limited amount of those, but...
Yeah. But it's still really interesting.
But it's fun to see how people like start, you know. You sort of get, what do you call it? Inblick.
Yeah.
That word. Yeah, you look it up. Inblick. No, but you get to see how people build up their work, you know, like from start to finish. Yeah, the process. Mm-hmm. And it's super nice. And also, there is no lag.
No.
I love that.
I mean, the few times I've tried it, when you forced me to try it, it was great, like really good. I never did any bigger pieces, only just small sketches.
And for being a full drawing application, holy crap, the price, man. Like I said to James, like it's too cheap.
Yeah.
And people were like, back when I bought it, you know, they were like, oh, because it was 38 crowns back then, I think. 38 crowns, you know. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what the equivalent in dollars is. Like, I mean, on the App Store, you know, they have like set. But back then it cost like $4. That is nothing. Like you don't buy an application that is so complete for $4.
Yeah.
And it has a built-in recording feature that is seamless. Mm-hmm. Like, have you ever tried using a PC machine and then trying to record that crap and then not having problems? No.
I managed to do it with what's it called? It's in the Mac. It's I think iMovie has a screen recording thing.
Maybe
QuickTime has it. Yeah, sorry.
That
exactly.
is actually pretty okay.
Yeah.
But it still crashes like at some point. Sometimes it just stops.
And I didn't know they had it. Like, it took me forever to realize it. And now I don't have a Mac computer anymore. So.
No, neither do I.
Woohoo.
But check it out. It's really good. It's super fun. You can create your own brushes, like out of photos and stuff. You can just it's super intuitive and all the shortcuts and stuff. Like if you guys take some time, because starting a new application, people are like, but it's too complicated.
Yeah, but
you don't need to do everything. Time. Yeah, you don't need to create your own brushes at first. Just start with the simple stuff. Painting, you know, brush size, opacity. Like find a couple of the brushes that you like.
Yeah.
And that's it. You just start painting. And then your experience will grow. You will find a need for this one thing.
Yeah.
And you will learn something new. Then you'll grow another need and you'll find it there. It's super nice.
Yeah.
And that's I guess all we have on Procreate, right?
Yeah.
Super awesome drawing application.
Awesome.
And it is exactly like you hear us say it, Procreate.
Yeah.
As in making babies, you know.
Yeah. Professional creativity.
Yeah. It's a pun.
Yeah.
It's super.
Very good. Or if you just want to leave a comment and stuff,
sketchbookheroes.com.
And that's it for this week.
Yeah, and keep rating us on iTunes to sort of get a better rating so we can reach more artists.
Yes, please.
And the biggest help that you can do for us is sort of spread whatever the hell we're saying. You know, like posts that matter to you.
Yeah.
And you think that we said something good or did an episode that was really good, please share it with your friends. iTunes, Twitter, you know. You can't share on iTunes, but Twitter. Facebook, I guess, is another big one.
Yeah. Tell
for
your
sharing.
friends. You
Tell
can
your
also
friends,
talk.
yeah.
You know, you don't always have.
And if
to
you don't
be-
like it,
yeah,
I guess you have to say that as well. So just keep
spread it anyway.
Spread it anyway and complain.
Yes, listen to these idiots.
Yeah, these guys don't know what the fuck they're saying.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
but yeah, thanks for listening, guys. As always, love you
yeah, love you guys. Thank you for tuning in again
again and again.
and again and again after this, of course.
Yeah.
And telling your moms.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know what you would tell your moms. Actually.
please don't.
Yeah.
Or do. Yeah, do.
Do. Yeah, we're out, guys.
Yeah, we're out.
Thanks for listening.
Sketchbook hero.
Sketchbook.